Good morning, my name is Valeria Arroyo. I am going to tell about full study report of Andexanet Alpha for bleeding associated with factor 10A inhibitor. Definition. Andexanet alpha is a modified recombinant inactive form of human factor 10A developed for reservoir of factor 10A inhibitor. This is a recombinant modified human factor 10A decoy protein that has been shown to reserve the inhibitor of factor 10A in healthy volunteers. Application in medicine. 362 patients who had acute major bleeding within 18 hours after administration of a factor 10A inhibitor. The patient receives a bolus of Andexanet followed by a 2-hour infusion. The compromising outcomes were the percent change in anti-factor 10A activity after Andexanet treatment and the percentage of patients with excellent or good hemostatic efficacy and 12 hours after of the infusion with hemostatic efficacy adjudicated on the basis of pre-specified criteria.
Such as apixaban and rivaroxaban, are convenient to take but can cause bleeding complications. Many physicians hesitate to use them because there's no easy way to reverse the effects of treatment in the event of an accident, internal bleeding, or a surgical emergency. Andexanet is a fragment of factor 10A that was designed to rapidly reverse the anticoagulant effects of these inhibitors by preventing their binding to authentic factor 10A. To test the efficacy of Andexanet, a small phase 3 trial was designed with healthy older volunteers as the participants. They were given either 10 milligrams of apixaban or 20 milligrams of rivaroxaban daily until steady-state anticoagulation had been achieved. Then intravenous Andexanet was given to determine whether the effects of these anticoagulants on blood clotting could be reversed, and if so, what the side effects might be. The primary outcome was the mean percent change in anti-factor 10A activity, which was significantly reduced both in participants who received a bolus of Andexanet and in those who received a bolus followed by an infusion of the drug. Participants who received a bolus of Andexanet had fully restored thrombin generation within 2 to 5 minutes, and this effect was sustained while Andexanet was given as an infusion after the bolus. No serious adverse events were noted. The authors conclude that Andexanet reversed the anticoagulant activity of apixaban and rivaroxaban in healthy older volunteers within minutes and for the duration of infusion, without evidence.
Pros and cons. Andexanet alpha product a rapid reservoir of the anticoagulant effect of liquids, as measured by the anti-10A factor activity, which was sustained during perfusion. In addition, it significantly reduced the plasma level of free apixaban and reestablished thrombic generation at normal level. Andexanet alpha was well tolerated with no serious adverse events, thrombotic events, or antibodies against factor 10 or 10A report. Use applied in Ecuador. This Andexanet alpha since the day it was officially released from the FDA. It has held lots of people with their bleeding problems. In Ecuador, we not have too much research to put off and is exists and Hispanic in countries like Argentina, Chile, Peru, and Colombia.
Continuing coverage of the 2015 ISTH conference in Toronto. We're joined now by Dr. Mark Crowther from McMaster University. Thank you, sir, for coming by.
Thanks very much.
Let's discuss the Andexa study part 2. Would you give us a background and some of the key results?
Absolutely. So the Andexa study is one of an ongoing series of projects which we're doing to look at ways of correcting the blood thinning effect of some of the newer blood thinners. As many of the viewers are probably aware, there's a whole series of new blood thinning medications that have become available in North America. And those drugs are very safe and very effective, but some patients do suffer bleeding complications and others do require surgical procedures while they still have a drug effect present. The Andexa study is designed to help us guide physicians in their care of patients who are at risk of bleeding, who are actively bleeding, with the use of a new agent called Andexanet Alfa. It's a specific agent which has been manufactured to reverse the blood thinning effect of those drugs. And our results here are part of a continuing series of presentations that we've made over the last year or so, showing that the Andexanet Alfa is extremely effective at correcting the blood thinning effect of those drugs.
How does this Andexanet Alfa work?
It's actually a really interesting mechanism of action. So the new blood thinners work by specifically blocking the activity of a single blood coagulation factor called factor 10, and the reversal agents work by actually mimicking factor 10. So they pretend to be factor 10, and the blood thinning drug attaches to them and is taken out of the equation so it can't thin the blood.
What other studies have been done with this particular product?
So there's been a whole series of presentations, and basically they've all been aiming towards proving that the drug is safe and effective. So in the first series of studies, we determined what the optimal dose of the drug was for various blood thinning agents. In the second of the series of studies, we then administered the blood thinning drug to healthy volunteers and demonstrated that the Andexanet was able to reverse the blood thinning effect. And now in this experiment, we're taking healthy older volunteers, dosing them to steady state with the blood thinners, and then showing that within 2 minutes of its administration, the Andexanet corrects the blood thinning effect of the drug.
So what is next with Andexanet?
So the next thing is really quite exciting, is a study where we're actually taking patients who are actively bleeding, who are receiving these blood thinning agents. They're receiving the Andexanet, and we're monitoring the ability of the Andexanet to reverse the blood thinning effect and also to correct the bleeding problem that the patient is suffering from.
What kind of an impact does Andexanet make, in your opinion?
Well, these drugs are very needed, and the reason they're very needed is because the patients who are treated with blood thinners do suffer bleeding complications. Bleeding complications are expensive, they can be medically difficult to manage, and people can die from them. And at the present time, there are no effective antidotes for these new drugs. So although the new drugs are widely used and highly effective for preventing blood clots, a small group of patients will present with bleeding, and we really do need effective reversal agents to correct their blood thinning effect. And to that end, actually, the Food and Drug Administration has actually stated that there's an urgent clinical need for reversal agents. So it's not just the company Portola, which is manufacturing this product, but also the regulatory agents of.
In conclusion, patients with acute major bleeding association with the use of a factor 10A inhibitor, treatment with Andexanet markedly reduces anti-factor 10A activity, and 82% of patients have excellent or good hemostasis efficacy at 12 hours, as adjudicated according to pre-specified criteria. Thank you.